Requiem.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Spectator Mode Podcast, Outerhaven's premier gaming podcast. Don't tell our friends over the Nintendo Entertainment Podcast because they think they're premier, but we are. And as always, I have my two hosts here.
There's one here now.
What did you say?
There's one here now from that podcast.
Oh yeah, I mean, we got Scott here. Don't tell Todd that.
There's a spy here.
And we got Kyle. What's up, guys?
Hi.
Just making sure I capture at least 160 more Pokemon.
Yeah, guys. So
We're getting close.
We got an interesting podcast today. We are going to talk about Pokemon and something else, and also the Game Awards shows. We're going to talk about some of the nominees. That's going to be fun. Obviously, I'm going to say that it is not going to be less than 30 minutes today. I do apologize, but that's okay because we're going to make it worth your while. Before we do anything, we do also want to send our prayers and our love and our condolences over to the family of Jason David Frank, who was found dead over the weekend, apparently by suicide. That's depressing more than anything else. Not because, at least I can say that I grew up watching this guy in Power Rangers. Kyle, maybe yourself as well.
I did.
So, I did as well.
He was
becoming the Red Ranger, the Green Ranger, then Red Ranger again was great.
He was a big part of my childhood. You know, he was a stand-up guy. I watched him even after he stopped doing Power Rangers. He was just so cool. You know, he was living life. He was doing the stuff that I wish I could do. He did some mixed martial arts, and he just seemed like a very awesome guy. Somebody I could hang out and chill with. So to hear,
I remember seeing him at cons and stuff. He looked like he was in great spirits. So it's really unfortunate to hear.
Yeah, especially during the holidays. I can't imagine how his family feels. That's all I can do is, wish them the best. Hopefully everybody gives them the space that they need and should respect their wishes to stay the hell away. Because I know a lot of people are just like, hey, what happened? What happened? Look, just give the family the time they need to grieve. Back up. All right. I didn't want to drag the podcast down. So we'll do something a little more positive. Scott has been playing a lot of Pokemon for Nintendo Switch. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, is it?
Yes. I've been playing way too much. I literally decided that instead of what I usually do with Switch games is I'll play in the morning until the Switch dies, charge it up, and do something else in the day. But as soon as I wanted to put it down, I needed to do something else on the Switch. So instead, I just docked it and just put it to the TV and just played it the whole day.
I wanted you to talk about the performance issues as well. I've been hearing and seeing some weird stuff about that game.
Oh, its performance is still, it's terrible. It drops frames a lot. It also has really weird graphical bugs that happens off and on. And it's worse when it's docked. That's one thing I noticed yesterday because I played it docked. It goes slower when it's docked. You can see technically Pokemon farther on the screen, but that also has the problem of Game Freak does these thing called dynamic frame rates, right? So when you have something that's far off in the distance and it starts like walking or running, it walks at like 5 frames a second. It's absolutely hilarious. But it's really bad in terms of the performance issues. But it's still a really great game, aside from that.
I think the problem with that, though, is people... And I can say I'm guilty of this as well. If I hear a game doesn't perform well, I tend to go, well, maybe I'm not going to play that game. Like, when I heard about the performance issues with this game, I was like, well, at least I can play it on my Steam Deck, right? But that's the wrong thing to say, right? That is definitely the wrong thing to say. But it's also kind of true.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of streams on it. I have the game, and I started playing it at midnight, but I think I spent about 45 minutes creating a character, and then I fell asleep. Which unfortunately after that I had to go down to Atlanta, and I spent the weekend in Atlanta doing DreamHack. So I didn't really get a chance to sit down and play Pokemon. But from what I've seen of it, performance-wise, it looks like a train wreck.
Yeah, this game was not optimized well. I will say that. It's still a fun game.
A lot of people are attacking Game Freak, which doesn't really seem all that fair, because these guys push Pokemon games out yearly. I don't think they have the time to make the game run any better than they can. I think if we could get it like Zelda, we can get Pokemon games released like Zelda does, we'd probably get something really awesome.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But, I think people need to be nice to Game Freak.
Yeah, Game Freak is basically, the same way that Activision used to basically go over Treyarch, where they'd have to spend like games almost every year. And in this case, we've had 2 Pokemon games this year with Pokemon Legends Arceus and now Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So that probably wasn't helpful.
So I never
Yeah.
understood this whole Pokemon committee thing where it's Nintendo, Game Freak, then the Pokemon Company, and all that other stuff. And people probably have asked this, but why hasn't Nintendo been asked, or why doesn't Game Freak let Nintendo once in a while take the reins and develop the game?
That would be interesting to see, because
Right?
I mean, the last time we've had someone who did anything outside of the Pokemon Company with Pokemon was Bandai Namco with Pokemon New Snap. And that one actually looked and performed really well.
Yeah, they probably had more time.
That is probably true.
I would also wager that they're a bigger company as well, so they have the resources.
They do have the resources, and we see like companies that have resources can utilize them pretty well. We have like, say, the Persona 5 Royal port on Switch that performs wonderfully and still has all like the big like added on assets of Persona 5 Royal. They didn't put just the normal Persona 5 assets on it, which I thought they were originally going to do to make it, flow better, but they were able to utilize the newer assets and still make the game perform well.
Oh well, it's a shame. I've heard good stuff about the game. I have a copy. I'm going to play it eventually, but there's a mountain of games approaching, or it has already started. So,
I'll play Violet as soon as I can beat God of War.
And you've been playing the game for a hot minute.
Sprigatito, I have a bunch of them now.
Yep. I am 35 hours in the God of War, and I'm close to the end.
How long is that game?
I think it's about 20 if you just focus on story stuff. But I wanted to get everything maxed out, so I've done like all the side content that I can. There are story missions after. Side content missions after you beat the game. But by the time I go back to do those, it'll be super easy. Like I've already killed all the ravens and stuff. So,
dang.
Yeah. I got like the more shore parts done. Now it's just a matter of time until I beat the game.
I was trying to remember what we were going to do next. Oh yes, Kyle, you said you had something that you wanted to talk about. Some cool stuff that you played over at DreamHack.
Yeah,
voice.
I actually played 2 really cool games. One was a small indie game, and it was called Mail Time. And you played this tiny little mushroom person. And it reminded me, I don't know if you guys ever played the game Tearaway.
I have not.
It reminded me of that game. And Tearaway was like let's say it was like a paper mache world. And you played this little hero who ran around trying to save the world. But in Mail Time, the aesthetic is very similar to that. And you play this little, I think you're called a mail scout. And you're basically going around meeting people, delivering messages, and finding collectibles. In the demo, it was maybe like 20 minutes long. But it was super cute, super fun to play. The next game that I played was called Skyscraper, which is in pre-alpha right now. But at DreamHack, you told me that it was almost done, and I would have believed you.
Is it like the movie?
It is a battle royale game.
It is nothing like the movie.
It's set in a city that's based off of Los Angeles, and you play these people called hikers, and there's no hero abilities. Everything you pick up, you get out of a chest. So you can get like swords and booster packs and things like that, or super speed. But you have to find all that stuff. And the unique thing about it is it's like you hear Battle Royale, so you think like a map that closes. It doesn't do that in Skyscraper. What happens is as you play throughout the game, you have a timer that counts down. And if your timer hits 0, you die. That's the end of the match for you. But as you find other people and kill them, you take their time, or there's these designated zones around the map. And if you stand in those, that will also increase the time.
Oh, I'm looking at it now. This actually looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. You can use a grappling hook and zip lines, and I got to play like in their dev build mode, which is kind of just like a sandbox mode they had set up for 6 people to run around, just shoot each other and grab weapons and stuff. And I jumped on a scooter, so I was like driving around the block on this little scooter. It was a lot of fun. So if you like battle royale games and you have a PC, something to keep an eye out for.
And it's coming out this year still?
When I talked to the developers, they said next year.
Okay. So the stuff look at now is old.
Probably.
It does look interesting. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm done with the battle royale scene. There's just been so many of them, and it's like, all right, I don't want to play anymore. But this has an interesting spin. I give it a try. Use a couple times.
Yeah, it's I thought it was fun. The devs were all really cool when I was talking to them. Just it was a fun game to play, and it played really well. There was some visual bugs that I had an issue with, but otherwise, like for being in a pre-alpha, the shooting was mostly solid. Some guns could probably use a little fine tuning, but otherwise, it was cool. I liked it.
All right, folks. So another battle royale to take a look at coming out 2023 Skyscraper. If you go Google it, Google Skyscraper Battle Royale. Don't just Google Skyscraper game because apparently there's an NTF game called Skyscraper. Yeah,
Don't do that
a problem. Yeah, it looks interesting. Check it out. All right, guys. So this podcast now it's going to be talking about the game nominations for the 2022 The Game Awards show, which is why this show is not going to be 30 minutes. We do apologize. We are not doing all of the nominees. There's just way too many of them.
There's a lot of these.
And dare I say, some are redundant.
Yes.
I'm just going to say that. But
100%.
So
that's just the Game Awards.
we're gonna save the game of the year for last, and we're gonna work our way through that. So, guys, you all have the image that I gave you. So we're gonna start in the upper first row, outside of game of the year. And guys and gals, if you don't agree with what we're saying, obviously you can drop us an email, hit us up on Twitter, or reply on the comments because it'll be on the Outerhaven site as well. All right, so the first game we got is Best Game Direction. And I don't want you guys picking what I pick. You guys need to get your own stuff. Okay? But seriously, there's you know what? I'm just going to save it until we get through all these because some of these are just, they bug me. They bug me a lot. They really irk my nerves. But anyway, so Best Game Direction. Come on, website. Load up again because also the website is terrible. FYI.
I can read it for you.
Because you could have just stopped on me. Is my favorite game in there?
Yes, it is.
You have Elden Ring.
Yes.
God of War Ragnarok. Horizon Forbidden West. Immortality and Stray.
Those first three names you'll probably see a lot in these categories.
One of these four is not like the other. One of these games does not belong in here.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm only with Elden Ring and God of War.
Yeah.
So I don't even think Forbidden West was that good this year. So
I think everything I've seen of God of War Ragnarok, and it does have a very, very varied direction. Art direction. It looks amazing, but the stuff I've seen Elden Ring, guys, sorry. I give Elden Ring the edge. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
I don't know which one I would choose. I've only actually played Stray in this list. I did like the game direction, but I wouldn't call it as the best game direction. But I really do appreciate the direction that they are going for with the creative and vision with God of War Ragnarok. With what I've seen and what I've seen Let's Plays of. I need to still play the game. So I guess I'd probably go with God of War Ragnarok with this list. I just think that this list needs to be a little more varied. I feel like that about all the time, though, with Game Awards, is they need to have a better varied selection of games.
We will talk about that at the end. Because remember I said I had comments? I have things to say about that. I'm going to talk about that.
Okay, so my vote then is for God of War Ragnarok.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Best Narrative. Oh, boy. Oh, baby. This one's been causing some issues on the internet. As Kyle said, you're going to see a lot of the same games in these categories. We got A Plague Tale Requiem. We've got Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality's back again. And again, I'm giving it to Elden Ring. I know a lot of people don't agree with the narrative. I've seen some people say it doesn't have a narrative. And I understand that if they're not used to or don't appreciate the storytelling that From Software actually does. It's not like, say, God of War, where it says, "Hey, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're doing this, we're doing that." You actually have to pick up on the cues and go along with the story and talk to the NPCs, and everything eventually becomes into the picture. Not like, oh, talk to this guy, he'll tell you everything you need to know. It's not like that. It's a different type of storytelling, and if it's not for everybody, and I completely understand that. But to be honest, 100% honest here, a Plague Tale Requiem should win this. It should. It's not going to, but it should.
I feel like Elden Ring will probably win most of these awards that they're in.
I think this one goes to God of War.
I'd probably
God
have
of War's
Plague
got a good
Tale
story.
Requiem.
I heard something and then I stopped hearing
It
something.
said I would go for Plague Tale Requiem. I love the way that they do the narrative in the Plague Tale games.
Yeah, I did too, but I went with Elden Ring. And Scott, what were you saying? I'm sorry, Kyle, what were you saying?
I gotta give it to God of War Ragnarok because the narrative in that game is really strong, and there's a lot of really great moments with a lot of the characters. Odin's great, Thor is great, Christopher Judge does a fantastic job interacting with Atreus and everything
Christopher
else.
Job does not do a fantastic job. Christopher is fantastic. Everything that he does. Everything that he does. Seriously. All right. So we're all varied on this one. That's good. I like that. The next one is Best Art Direction. And we got Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Scorn. Scorn should win this. Scorn's got some very, very weird stuff going on. The art direction in Scorn is fantastic.
I agree with that one. I actually I think I could give it to any game in this category except for Forbidden West, because Forbidden West just looks like more of Zero Dawn to me. So, but like God of War Ragnarok has some beautiful lookings. Elden Ring is gorgeous. I mean, it's not the best looking game on the list. Stray at least feels unique. But I mean, I think Scorn really does have a really cool, creepy art style. So it's the most unique out of this whole group.
Scorn is the most unique. I agree that I'd probably want it to win just because of that. I wouldn't say I'm sick of the more realistic, but I'm sick of this always being the best art direction of being the specific kind of deal. But I think, Scorn gets my vote.
Oh, Scorn is so scary and creepy. Ugh. Okay. Best score in music. There we go again, guys. A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, Singer, and Xenoblade 3. Ooh. I'm going to go last on this one.
This actually has somewhat of a variety because we only have 2 of the main 3 that show up in these categories. But so I'm going to have to give this over to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I really like the unique changes they have with like the score and the soundtrack. Every single time you have like music with every different part of like the different like cultures and sections is really varied and it's really good.
You're next.
Yeah, I agree. I think Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is the best one. That moment, I don't want to like spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
But there's a big moment where the game makes you think something happened to a certain character, and it plays like that piano theme with like the flute song that they played throughout the game. And that scene, like that whole thing is like maybe like 30 to 45 minutes long, but like the music they play during those sections is fantastic. I was up for like 3 hours in bed playing my Switch, and I hit that part, and like it was wonderful. There was just like tears in my eyes. That song was playing in the background. No, she was asleep. So
I'm going to also say Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has an amazing soundtrack. I have not played the game yet. Big shock because I have too much stuff to do. But I have listened to the soundtrack over and over and over. Honestly, all the Xenoblade games have had an amazing soundtrack. All of them. And it's a shame that these games aren't recognized for what they are. Like, I know Scott would know this one. I don't know who the composer of this one is, but Black Tar from X, Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Oh, yes.
That is my track. I love that track.
It's been forever since I played a Wii U.
But that I go back and listen to that. I listen to Black Tar all the time. It is such a great track. Amazing.
When are we getting Xenoblade Chronicles X on Switch now? We have everything else.
Never. It'll be the next Nintendo console. It'll be the next remaster.
Dang it. I mean, maybe.
When
I
they
don't have to
release
get the next
Xenoblade
one.
Chronicles Y.
Oh, boy. All right, so we got best audio design. We got modern. Well, I can't talk. God of War. Jeez, there's so many of them. They're so blurred. We got Call of Duty: Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, God of War, Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West. Gran Turismo 7 should take this.
I really like the audio design they have of Gran Turismo 7 because there's so many little things in the game that just like is like wow with how they use their audio.
Yeah, and if you play this in 3D audio enabled headset or a good surround sound, oh, it is so good, so good.
I haven't played Gran Turismo 7, guys. I'm sorry.
It's okay, you're still going through Ragnarok.
So I'm gonna have to go with God of War Ragnarok on that one. Again, I don't know why Forbidden West is on this list. So.
Because
Somebody's a hater.
I don't hate the games. I just find them wholly uninteresting.
And that's
If I
fine,
wanted to play, if I
that's
wanted to
a
play
good
Far
thing.
Cry with robots, then that Horizon would be perfect.
I mean, that's the good
But-
thing. You don't have to like a game because the general internet consensus says you must like it. Screw that. Who cares?
I agree.
All right, next category. Clickly. Best indie. We got Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic. Let you guys go first.
this one's actually probably the toughest of the categories for me. I really love Stray.
Yeah.
Sifu's a really cool game and cool design. Cult of the Lamb is addicting. Neon White is actually a really like well-designed game too. I think I liked my time at Stray the most though, just because I'm a sucker for cats, so I'm probably just gonna go with Stray.
I would go with either Sifu or Stray. I enjoyed Stray and I beat Stray, but I didn't beat Sifu. But I just think it's a pretty brilliantly made game.
Yeah.
As far as like indies go, with the whole martial arts and stuff. I don't love the aging mechanic, but otherwise it's a fantastic game. So
Like this, ironically, it's always the indie one that makes me feel like I have to actually cut one off because I liked a lot of these games. Like even Tunic, I had my moments with. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I just felt like it was a weird mishmash of like a Soulsborne with a Link, like Legend of Zelda setting. But I think, yeah, Stray is my favorite. But I love like the Sifu action. I like the game direction design of Neon White, and Cult of the Lamb is just really addicting and it's just really hilarious.
I missed out on Cult of the Lamb. I bought the game, but like something else was out at the time, and I just never got around to playing it. So it's just sitting in my backlog right now.
I know how that
collecting
feels.
digital dust.
I will say I really loved Sifu. I did not care for Tunic, but the moment I got my hands on Cult of the Lamb, it was over. I could not put that game down. The
Right.
gameplay is amazing. I love the mechanic system in place, and the soundtrack is amazing. Yeah, Cult of the Lamb is my nominee. Easy, hands down. Loved it.
A good nominee.
Yeah, you were pretty crazy for it.
Oh my god, I could not stop. I kept trying to talk to the developer, like, "Hey, this game is amazing. Can you spare some time to talk to me about this game?" And he was like, "No, we're busy right now." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, it's fine."
Thanks.
All right, we got a bizarre one now. We got best action game, and we got Bayonetta 3, Call of Duty: Modern Warfare 2, Neon White, Sifu, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. Why is Call of Duty: Modern Warfare 2 even in here?
I have no idea. This one is like the one that belongs here the least.
I know people are going to say it's an action game. It's a shooter, first person shooter. It should be in the best first person shooter game genre, which there isn't one, or nominee, which isn't one. This, when you say action, I think like kick and punch and stuff like that. And I know a lot of people are probably saying Bayonetta 3 is amazing, but I kind of enjoy Shredder's Revenge a lot more.
I think Shredder's Revenge is my vote. But that's just because I've played through it at least like 5 times now with a different set of people, and it's always fun.
And that's the thing. It's a great party game. The mechanics are fun. Playing with icons that you grew up with is also amazing. The soundtrack is amazing. The combo system is amazing. It's a great game.
Why is Shredder's Revenge not on these lists more, to be honest?
We know why. We'll talk about it at the end.
I wanna know why there isn't a best FPS category, but there's 2 best action adventure categories. You have best action game, and then you have best action adventure, which doesn't make any sense. It's just did they have to put another section in to get Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok on?
It was to get God of War Ragnarok more votes than Elden Ring. That's why.
I guess.
Yeah, which that one, the best action adventure, does not have Elden Ring on it, which makes no sense.
Because Elden Ring is the next category.
This is so fucking confusing, guys.
Best role playing: Elden Ring, Live a Live, Pokemon Legends, Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I am so sorry for all of you, but it's Elden Ring, guys. Sorry, Xenoblade. Oh man.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Xenoblade is awesome, but I definitely think I put too much time into Elden Ring as well. But I think if either one of those games won, I'd be happy. Now, if Triangle Strategy won, I'd be upset because that game is boring.
Tell us how you really feel about that game.
That game is boring.
I don't know this one because I have Live Alive, Pokemon Legends, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I haven't played Elden Ring enough to know how well it does with role playing. I really love Pokemon Legends Arceus, but I also know that it has its issues. I think I'm just gonna go Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I loved Live Alive. I loved having like the mechanics of like different characters, different timelines, and going through different generations, looking at like your impacts and everything. Which I always love those kind of mechanics. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons why Chrono Trigger is my absolute favorite game of all time. But Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is where my vote goes.
Fair enough. All right, moving over to best fighting games. We've got DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R, King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, and Sifu. First of all, Sifu is not a fighting game. It literally says for the best game designed primarily for head-to-head combat. Sifu is a one-player game. Therefore, it should not be in this list. To all the people who put this on here, you cannot read.
Yeah, I don't get it. They're going to put Sifu in best fighting game, but they're not going to put Elden Ring in best action adventure. I don't understand.
With that said, this category is actually pretty tough. I did enjoy playing DNF Duel until I realized how broken that game was. Multiverses is a lot of fun, even though it got boring after a while. And King of Fighters 15, it's just once the and I'm not trying to be one of those kind of guys, but once the Brazilians got in there, like, get it. They are so damn good at this game. Holy crap. But I think mine's will go to King of Fighters 15. It is a great game. But I know my place is not playing online anymore. Oof. Jeez.
This one's tough for me, just because. So the King of Fighters, King of Fighters 15, I think is probably the best balanced fighting game, and like between all of these. Multiverses, I think, was the most fun that I had in a fighting game, but I think it's just also because like it helps having people you play with. So I'm gonna go. My vote was Multiverses.
I think out of that whole list, I've only played Sifu and Multiverses. So I'm gonna have to go with Multiverses because that's the only fighting game that I played this year.
All right, well, that's fair. I mean, you don't have to play everything. We all can't be me and just go crazy. I would recommend that you not be me, because then again, you go crazy. I need to go back to my paper. My computer decided to close it out.
The next one is most anticipated game.
No. We did.
Where's one we missed?
We missed a couple, so we're gonna circle back. I'm just looking at this stupid list.
Innovation and accessibility is the
innovation. So circle back to best innovation. As the Dust Falls, God of War Ragnarok, Return to Monkey Island, The Last of Us Part 1. Do you mean Part 1 remake?
They need to get a better name for this.
Well, that's the separation right there. The other one is just The Last of Us.
Yeah.
So now it's part 1 and part 2, and they're both on the same level as each other. So.
And The Quarry. Sorry. Why do I keep saying sorry? God of War Ragnarok just blew every game on this list away with the amount of accessibility options they put in this game. I'm glad for them.
One of the best things about God of War Ragnarok is that the accessibility options gives you an auto pickup. And that's the best option.
Very nice. Yeah, I think God of War Ragnarok destroys these other games in terms of its features for accessibility. Just to the fact that it has so much features for accessibility that you can all customize for so many things. It's probably, I think it's one of the few games I've seen where you get like an actual toggle where when you want an autosave, you can autosave in the middle of a boss so that you don't have to keep restarting at the beginning of a boss. So like when you get to like every 4th health level, like every 4th you get down in the boss, it autosaves for you so that when you die, it just pushes you back to when that last bar of health was at. And I actually think that was a fantastic accessibility feature, especially for someone who got to like say their 3rd form of a final boss and has to go all the way back to the 1st form again at the start.
Yeah, that is nice. Which you also get that if you put it on the easiest difficulty, it'll save halfway through the boss.
There's another game I'm playing that does that, and I'm glad they do that. But it's not a accessibility option. It's just something that's baked into the game, which I'm glad to see. Well, I skipped one that I didn't put on the list, but I know we were talking about beforehand, and obviously that one is best adaptation.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that. We've got Arcane, League of Legends, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted. Double This one, for 3 different votes in here, 3 different nominations, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Arcane, when it first came out, was amazing. Netflix actually gave me early access to this, and I watched this with my wife, and I was like, wow, this is so damn amazing, right? But then they did the same thing again to Edge Runners, and I was watching this show for 2 weeks ahead of time, and I'm like, I really want to talk about this. I want to talk about this. I really want to talk about this, and I couldn't talk about it. Say again.
I think if you're going to ask me about it, I really enjoyed Edge Runners, but I don't think Edge Runners was long enough.
It was not.
I think what is it by like episode 3 is where the one character that the main character like respects dies, and then like from there you kind of see like you immediately see like the downfall of him.
Yep.
And it happens so fast. In between like that moment and the next episode, he's like already a different person. Like you don't see any of that happen. You see him die, and you know that he's gonna go psycho. So like just getting that last scene in that episode, he's completely different, and he's like built up, he's all modded out, and it's like, when did all of this happen? So I'd have to go with Arcane. I think Arcane plays out so well, and it's so beautiful, and it's fantastic. It's a fantastic show.
I'm actually going with Arcane too. Honestly, this is a lot harder than I was expecting, because Cyberpunk Edge Runners is really well done as well. I think Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is also a fantastic like adaptation of its source, but I think Arcane just blew it out of the water with actually making people like League of Legends.
Yeah, I wish League of Legends could be anywhere near as interesting as Arcane is.
Right?
I'm going to go with Sonic. I love Sonic the Hedgehog 2 as a game, and the movie. I saw the movie and then went back and watched it a couple days later. As soon as it came out at home, I started watching it as many times as I could. I just love the character itself, and some of the actors were also really good. I just thought it was a
Ben
great
Schwartz
adaptation.
is an amazing Sonic.
I agree. I also really enjoyed Sonic. I just, when it comes to these other adaptations, I really think that Arcane steals the show on this one.
I don't understand how Uncharted's in here, but whatever.
Uncharted's here because they didn't have another one to place here, I guess.
I'm gonna say the same thing about Cuphead. I actually think Cuphead's cute. Like, my kids watch it because it's pretty family friendly for the most part.
For the most, except for when you sell your soul to the devil. I mean, no.
Well, see, that's like a part of the thing. Like, the devil comes to claim it, so they make a sweater for him. So like, he can't. It's just a goofy show. It's cute. It's just, it doesn't hold a candle compared to the other ones.
No, it's not.
Well, except Uncharted. It's better than Uncharted. I would watch paint dry on a wall than Uncharted. So
Hey, I kind of liked Uncharted, but I still understand that it's still pretty mediocre. It's nowhere near the level of the rest of these four.
All right, so we got the most anticipated game, and I got some words. I got some words, but I'll go last. So you go for it. You first, buddy.
Alrighty, so most anticipated game on here for me, it's a toss-up between Zelda and Hogwarts. I really do want to, I do love Final Fantasy series, and I do want to see how Final Fantasy 16 turns out. But in terms of it, I know it's probably going to be good anyways, because we have Yoshida as the main person to do it. But I also, Hogwarts Legacy is a game, a kind of game that I've wanted since the Philosopher's Stone came out on PC. The kind of game where you can make your own character, travel the world of Hogwarts, become like a student, do classroom stuff. That's been something that I've been wanting as a game since 2001. So 21 years. Holy crap, how old am I? Okay. And Zelda, because I really love Breath of the Wild, and I really do want to see what happens more. I want to see what else we get out of that world, out of Hyrule, and how the rest of the world goes down with, well, since basically everything is getting destroyed. I want to see how it ends.
I think for me it's Tears of the Kingdom and Starfield. I think Hogwarts is cool, but I'm on that line where I don't want to contribute to J.K. Rowling's royalty check.
Just buy used, dang it.
But I do hate that I'm gonna hurt the actual nice kind developers that are
the developers
making
who locked
the
out
game.
J.K. Rowling of everything because they didn't like her either.
Yeah, I don't want to punish them for that, but unfortunately, it's not high on my list, just because J.K. Rowling sucks. But I mean, Starfield looks awesome, so I'm looking for that Bethesda space adventure, and Breath of the Wild was so great. So, I mean, between those two games, I'm going to be eating pretty well next year, hopefully, provided they don't get delayed.
So I didn't hear which one you picked.
I'm on the fence. I think I'm either one of those games. Starfield, I guess. I would go with Starfield. Because I'm more into sci-fi. Or actually, you know what? Resident Evil 4. I'm gonna go with Resident Evil 4.
No, you are not anticipating Resident Evil 4.
You're right. I'm not a big Resident Evil fan.
All right, so I see these games up here, and the first thing that goes through my mind is, so where's the Dead Space remake? Where's Calypso Protocol? Do you guys are waiting for Resident Evil 4, but you have no cares about the Dead Space remake?
Yeah,
None?
that's a
After
good point.
all the stuff they're doing to this game.
Yeah, Dead Space is such a big step up from what we got when that game released originally. When did that game release?
When's it coming out? Or when?
No. The original Dead Space.
Oh man, I was playing it. Let me look this up. I was at home at my old house playing it nonstop in my basement. Wow, what was this? 2008.
Man, that's what I was gonna say too. That's awesome. So from 2008 to 2023, it's a big step up. Resident Evil 4 is just more Resident Evil remake that we've been getting the past couple years.
I mean, Resident Evil 4 is literally a game that gets remastered every year for a different system. We literally got Resident Evil 4 VR last year, so this is just gonna be another Resident Evil 4. But
Resident Evil 4 is Capcom's Skyrim,
pretty much.
I mean, people don't get this. I mean, let me break it down for y'all that are listening to this podcast. All right, Dead Space remake has a brand new audio system in place that makes things sound much more eerie and gives you a better sense of immersion. They made the game so that you don't have to travel throughout the U.S. Usumura without using the tram system, which was only for the game to load in the next level. You literally can go through from the beginning to the end of the massive ship without loading now.
That's amazing.
They added story elements that weren't in the original game. They tweaked the original story elements so it doesn't change the game. They enhanced the graphics. They're putting in more things like ultra wide support. Oh my god!
And then there's
they've changed the dismemberment system,
the cutting system. Yeah. So now you can cut off flesh too.
it's like they did all this stuff. They're doing all this stuff, what they should have did many years ago before they killed Visual Studios off. But I digress. And it's
Or
not even
Visceral.
up here.
Yeah. The Game Awards, man, like I just think like every year I just feel like they're just stretching further and further just to pad out the nominees and get more ad revenue.
So, unfortunately, if I had to say which one of these 5 games I'm looking forward to,
It's Final Fantasy 16.
it's Hogwarts Legacy. I'm on the same fence as you are, but I would rather support the developers
I get it.
who have done an amazing job and are doing an amazing job.
I will play it eventually. I know that much.
So it's like, what if somebody buys the license from the name who would not mention? Would people care then? Like, oh, hey, they don't own this. That person doesn't own it anymore. Would you care then? So it's
yeah. I mean, if she didn't have anything to do with it, yeah.
It's one of those things like, you know, you don't want the person.
I think my biggest thing, like recently, someone said something to her and she responded with, "Well, then I just look at my royalty check that comes in the mail," and I was
that
like,
person's
what?
a jerk. Why do
like,
people even try to instigate
What a
or
butthole.
talk to that person? That person's a jerk. Literally is a jerk. You know.
Yeah.
So, oh man. Unfortunately,
it's not that like that I don't want to play it because I'm like,
no, I get
like
you.
you guys.
No, I
I
get
grew
you.
up
I get what you are
with Harry Potter, and it looks fantastic. I don't know if anybody's seen IGN's video coverage on it where they're walking through Hogwarts trying to not spoil
Yeah,
stuff.
did you see the video
It
of like the
looks
customization
gorgeous.
options? That was ridiculous.
I actually did not see that video. I watched a 20-minute video where they walked through the castle, and it looked fantastic. So, I mean, there's a lot of hard work and effort put into this game. So,
Oh yeah, IGN coverage is a lot better than their coverage of what Sonic Frontiers was.
Yeah, that last video I saw where they were showing the character creation, I was like, wow. I have to play this game.
Yes, it looks so good.
So that is, I'm here for the game. And unfortunately, I mean, the last game I played, Ghost Song, was made by apparently the guy was a racist. I'm like, oh God, I didn't know that. But the game was amazing. So it's like, all right, well, it's like, all right, the game was good. Oh man. But you support, look, I'm just playing the game. Leave me out of that crap. I don't want none of that crap. I'm just here for the game.
I'm playing games because I like the game.
Exactly.
I will say I do hate that where like Hogwarts is concerned, there's far too many people drawing like that hard line in the sand.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you do play this game, you're a terrible person because you support a terrible person. It's not that deep. Like,
no.
It's like watching the movies now and going at Daniel Radcliffe, even though he just came out and said like, I don't believe that, but he was a part of that. He's a part of that world. I'm sure he collects royalties too from Harry Potter. Like,
probably.
Are we gonna go after him too? Like, I don't know. I just think there's too many lines drawn in the sand over Harry Potter. Like, you can still be friends with people, especially if they don't believe in that.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's the way it is. And there's no such thing. I mean, there should be a thing as drawing a line in the sand because there's always extremes. And it is what it is, unfortunately,
Yeah, and I've met like cool other journalists through this way, like, and it's like they're also that same way. And it's like, I hate that. I hate that like we can't all just be friends.
Not in this world. Isn't that right, Elon? I mean, yeah.
Goodbye, Twitter.
We've got to most of the nominations that we cared about. I mean, there are a lot more, but I think these are ones I care about. If there's something that I admitted or didn't do, I would love for you guys to bring it up and do your own vote on them, please. I think you guys were also interested in best performance. I don't have any skin in that one, but I would love to hear your guys' opinions on that.
Best performance, like I said, man, it's Christopher Judge.
So we've got Horizon Forbidden West, Ashley Birch, A Plague Tale, Requiem, Charlotte McBurgie, God of War, Ragnarok, Christopher Judge, who I already said he's amazing no matter what he does. Immortality, Man Gay. I think I said that completely wrong. And I'm going to butcher this next person, and I apologize. God of War, Ragnarok, Sunny Soljic. I can't pronounce it.
That's what my guess is too. But I'm for Christopher Judge on this one as well.
Yeah, Christopher Judge is fantastic, especially in Ragnarok, because like Kratos has to go through some emotional shit. And there's a little bit of growth in like the way he sees things and the way he sees Atreus and stuff. So it's gotta go Christopher Judge. He also does a really good job being so deadpan all the time that like he just makes so many moments and like little conversations hilarious. Like he had to be like cracking up while he was doing this game, just trying to be like, no, like I feel like I would. So plus this picture of him that's on the Video Game Award website, he's adorable. I want to hug him.
Well, you got to get invited to the show first, or buy tickets. Can you even buy tickets?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I talk trash about the Game Awards a lot on Twitter, so I'm sure they wouldn't invite me.
And that leads me up to my.
He called it the Game AdWards.
But I mean, this leads me up to my last thing here. So I don't really care how I'm going to say this. And some people listen to this that work at these publications outlets. I'm sorry. I'm just saying what it is. There needs to be more variety in these people that they bring over. I mean, some of these people are always here. And it's not like they're like small ones. They're the giants of the industry. Like IGN, Game Informer, Ars Technica. I mean, like, are you serious? Polygon, PC Gamer, The Verge. The fact that you have Polygon and The Verge in here, or that's from the same company, but Polygon is supposed to be the gaming branch, and The Verge is supposed to be the technology branch. WTF? You need to add more variety in it, and you need to start inviting smaller people. Nobody on this list is small in terms of influence and popularity. Not a one. Not at least in US. It's terrible. You guys can do better than this. UK, The Edge, Eurogamer, PC Games N, which I love. VG247, which I also love.
I do enjoy VG247 as well.
It's like, are you serious? The only place they have smaller people is in Australia, where you have Press Start and Stevenator, which are picked up. Actually, I don't think Stevenator got picked up, but Press Start got picked up by a major media company in Australia. That's crazy, guys. You can do better. And I'm not tooting my own horn. Hey, maybe we would like to, because we have some varied, things to say about these games as well. But for you to be in touch with the entire industry, you got to talk to the big and the small, not just the medium and the massive. You got to do better than this. You have to do better than this, especially in North America, or I'm just saying USA. You have to. That's just me, Rand. I'm done.
I can agree with that. It would be nice to see just a few more voices, that ones that aren't just the big guys who you hear about literally all the time,
who talk about the same stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful or say anything to these people or about these people. A lot of people I talk about or I like, and I listen to their stuff or watch their stuff or read their stuff. But it's like it's always the same people. Always the same people, guys. There's more than these people in your I was going to say North America, but Canada's North America as well. In the US alone. There's more than this.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool people that work at those other publications, but it's like there's more than just IGN and GameSpot and Kotaku and Polygon, so.
Yeah, you gotta just do more, guys. Just do better.
Plus, if they had more little guys, we might have actually seen more games than just God of War, Ragnarok, and Elden Ring, and Horizon Forbidden West and everything.
We probably would have.
Yeah, because all the little guys are the guys who get the little games.
Yeah,
you guys don't really care about
how many of these people have played Frostly Frosted. I'm guessing probably nobody of.
Yeah, but that's another topic for another time. I would love to partake with my fellow journalists from other smaller outlets and smaller personalities. But that's it. That's our picks for the Game Awards 2022 show. I'm sure it'll be a battle between Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok.
100%.
Oh, absolutely. And then underdog will be Forbidden West.
It'll be interesting to see which one wins. I know it's going to be a massive thing on the internet going, well, God of War should bring more games because blah, 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 and Elden Ring should bring more because blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what? I really don't care. Shut up.
I think the worst part about this is, regardless of who wins, it's going to turn into a console war again.
It always does.
I think my big thing is, especially with Ragnarok, I really enjoyed 2018 God of War, but I don't think that it was on the same level as Red Dead. So I was one of those people who was upset that Red Dead 2 got beat by God of War, especially where I think it won more nominations, or like won more categories than God of War did, but it's still a game of the year. But I think like with Ragnarok, it is a step up. You know,
You won't be as disappointed if it wins.
I won't be disappointed if it wins. It's got a wider variety of bosses. It's got more worlds to explore. It's got, it's the writing's fantastic. So I really do think it's a step up. So if it wins, like compared to Elden Ring, I think it's going to be a lot more of a fair fight. Except maybe in that narrative category. I don't really.
Oh boy, that's going to be, that is already
Elden Ring being on there and all. So
just because you can't understand the stories being told or can't pick up on the story doesn't mean it doesn't have a narrative. Now, I'm just saying, if you guys played the game.
That's what I'm saying is I don't think that it's not that it doesn't have a narrative, because it does. You just have to find it. And then, if you're unlucky enough to not piece it together yourself, someone else will have to explain it to you. And I think that's what kind of edges it out of that best narrative category. Because we know the narrative that's in Elden Ring is cool and interesting if you can find it and put it together right.
I mean, if you just follow the main story and don't pick up all the small pieces, it literally says, hey, this is what's happening. Hey, you need to go here. It even got the, I forgot what it's called. God. But the thing that directs you from one location to the other. If you really can't figure things out, go here, go here, go here.
The way the grace points you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's there, guys. I'm saying what I'm saying, guys. I don't mean you. I'm just saying people in general. It is there. You just gotta know what you're looking for. And again, there's two different ways to tell a story. So there's multiple ways to tell a story. It's just Elden Ring does it a different way than God of War does it, different than Super Mario Brothers does it. I'm not here to say, hey, you're a big stupid poopy head because you don't like Elden Ring. Totally not saying that. I'm just saying you're a big poopy head if you're saying that it doesn't have narrative whatsoever.
Oh yeah, see, that's not true at all. It does have a narrative.
I'm disappointed that Trails from Zero never made it on any list.
Oh my God. Can we talk about that? I think it, I'm going to make you mad. I just think there's just way too many RPGs for them to be on that list. And it's just, you can only have 5 games. Like, you can only have 5 games, just 5 games. Are you serious?
Do we have to keep having 3 of the 5 the same game is the thing?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that goes back to having more varied eyes or experiences. Like, there are more RPGs than Elden Ring and this and that and that. There are other things out there. Maybe they're not as big or grandiose as those, but they're out there. Yes. Have you played them? No. Well, that's why they're not on the list, but they're there. I mean, how many RPGs came out this year?
I don't have a number for you on that.
Okay, I got a short list. So we had Elden Ring, right? God, I'm thinking what else. I would even say Cyberpunk 27, just because of all the updates. It's a complete different game.
Cyberpunk.
It's a completely different game now. It's like, oh my God, it actually plays well. Xenoblade. I would even say Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Yeah, we got Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. We got Star Ocean. We got Harvestella. We got
Stranger of Paradise.
Stranger of Paradise. We got Pokemon.
It's a shame that Marvel's Midnight Suns didn't come out because that probably would have been good as well. But
that probably would.
That's also good. Not anticipated. Surprise, surprise. I don't know. I mean, we could go on forever talking about this, unfortunately. And can I also talk about the cutoff date? I don't like this cutoff date nonsense.
Like November 18th or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be like the Oscars, where they have it in like February or March or something like that. Like that's how it should be. That way you get everything in the year out.
Yeah.
And then you go from there.
Right. Oh well.
Oh yeah, we had Soul Hackers.
Yeah, we had Soul Hackers. We
Oh, yeah.
had The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero.
And see, that's the problem. There's just so many great games that came out that it's like we don't remember what they are.
We had, what was the other one? Like The Edge of Eternity? Was that the one that came out this year?
Oh, I did not like that.
Yes,
game.
it was.
I kickstarted that game. Oh, I did not like it.
I didn't play it, but I saw coverage of it. So,
All right. Well, I think we've rambled enough. We've taken enough people's time. Thank you for listening to our ramblings about the Game Awards show. I'm pretty sure we're going to get some comments about them, which we love and we welcome. We're looking forward to watching the show. I don't know if we're going to do something where we all watch together and go, yay, or boo, or something to that effect. I'm also wondering how many world premieres we'll hear during the show. It should be interesting to see.
I can't wait to fall asleep watching commercials.
Oh, yeah, those two. Those two.
How many Nintendo Switch commercials are going to be about you should get a Nintendo Switch and nothing else?
I have a Nintendo Switch and I have the OLED Switch sitting on my shelf, which has not been opened since I got it because I thought it was a waste of money and I can't take it back because I don't have a receipt. Probably sell it. I mean, my Switch stays dock, man. I don't ever take it anywhere else. I mean, there's a more superior hardware called the Steam Deck. Maybe better heard of it. And it costs about the same. Wait, doesn't it? Yeah, it totally does. But I'm not talking about
about another like $100 more. I think that's if you get a normal Switch.
Normal Switch. We need that Switch Pro so we can run games better.
Yeah, right.
Oh wait, that's the Steam Deck. I'm sorry. All right, I'm gonna stop now. Thanks for checking out the Spectator Mode Podcast, folks. From myself, Kyle, and Scott. Thanks for checking out the show. As always, you can find us over at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, the Outerhaven.net for some great articles as well. Check us out on YouTube and anywhere else where great podcasts or any podcasts are. All right. So it is time to go to bed. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? I can't get over this daylight saving time thing over with. My body's not going. I get up.
It's time
like,
for me to go to bed. That's for sure.
Yeah, it feels like my body's like, I don't know, Keith. What do you want to do? Yeah, I should probably go to bed. But thanks for watching. Geez, thanks for listening, everybody, and have a good night or good morning or good evening, whatever.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.